Hey everyone, my name is Jake. I'm a current student at Stanford University, class of 2025. Today in my video, I will be covering the supplemental essay questions for Stanford-specific applications. So anyone looking to apply to Stanford, welcome here, and let's go ahead and get started. Reason that I decided to cover the supplemental essays in my video is really for myself. I didn't have the best test scores or grades. And so I had to focus all of my energy on really portraying myself on my application. And I found one of the best ways to do that is through supplemental essay questions, where you're able to really show who you are, not only through your writing, but also how you write and how you answer questions. We'll go ahead and get started, and we'll look at a response to one of the questions, and I'll just kind of go through step by step, really what I did and how it can help you. Alrighty, so before we look at the specific question and answer, I just want to add a few tips that really helped me when I was writing my essays. Every single person's different. When your reader is going to be looking through your application, really they will instantly be able to find out if you are putting yourself on a paper or if you're trying to be someone else. So my biggest advice is don't fake your personality. Don't fake what you do. Really be your honest and true self. It will give you the best chance of being accepted to your dream university, and in this case, specifically Stanford. They want to see exactly who you are and what you will provide to Stanford as a whole. They're not trying to find the best test scores. They're trying to find the best students to attend their school. And being able to highlight who you are on a piece of paper and for an essay question, that's the most valuable part for your reader. Secondly, make sure to spread out your passions throughout the various questions. Obviously, there are plenty of questions that Stanford asks you, and I would highly suggest not focusing on the same topics for any of those questions. I see it as an extremely valuable source for all of us on our application, where they give us 10, 12 questions that you're able to answer as yourself. It's extremely valuable, because it gives the reader the best chance to know who you are. And if you focus on the same topic every time, you're wasting that ability to share more about yourself. For example, if on one question you decide to talk about how you were a captain for a varsity sport, maybe avoid talking about that varsity sport in the other questions, just so you're able to paint a complete picture of yourself through just one application, which is the hardest thing to do. So just a couple tips to keep in mind, and we will go ahead and actually start off right now on the question specifically. And the question that I want to cover in this video is the Stanford community is deeply curious and driven to learn in and out of the classroom. Reflect on an idea or experience that makes you genuinely excited about learning. Obviously, 100 to 250 words. You're going to quickly realize when you're writing this that is not a lot of space. So before I look at my response here, my advice is write out an answer to this question without a word limit. And once you have an answer, that's when you start shaving away words, shaving away sentences, shaving away ideas to get under that 250 word limit. If you try to instead write all the way 250 words and nothing past that, you will be sacrificing ideas. You won't be being able to get your entire answer across. And so find the answer first and then proceed to break it down. So my answer reads as follows. Ever since I was young, my dad would regularly challenge me to a game of chess, occasionally for all the marbles. Even with my best effort, my dad slaughtered me in a couple moves. As I got older, our games became more competitive. And when I was 15, I slammed my queen down in excitement, delivering the checkmate of a lifetime. After a self-promoting cheers and a victory lap, I felt an adrenaline rush I had not before. The joy I felt in that minute was something I continued to look for. My days were filled with chess books and online tutorials. Instead of Netflix, I would watch a breakdown of Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen's tournament win. My school studies would be pushed off nightly so I could study and memorize my chess openings. The idea that two people, regardless of race, gender, religion, or language, can compete without hesitation is incredible to me. Along with creating new relationships, chess has brought me closer to the people I love. I continue to challenge myself day in and day out, playing with my father as well as people around the world. This game has not only improved my critical thinking skills, but helped me create a meaningful bond with my dad. I also still own all the marbles. So, breaking this down, I want to look at the first sentence. Ever since I was young, my dad would regularly challenge me to a game of chess, occasionally for all the marbles, and then even with my best effort, my dad slaughtered me in a couple moves. When you're introducing your essay, you're limited on space. So you don't want to make the most perfect intro in the world if the actual answer is then rushed because of it. You can see in mine, it was very quick. Ever since I was young, my dad would regularly challenge me to a game of chess. And then I threw in the occasionally for all the marbles just to throw my personality in there, which I encourage you guys to do the same. If you are a funny or sarcastic or whatever it is type of person, make sure you weave that in throughout your essays. Don't go overboard. Make sure you still answer the question and portray yourself as educated. However, you want to have your personality as well in all of your answers. And so I would highly suggest write your entire answer first, and after that, go back to your intro, shorten it down as much as possible, get it to a point where it introduces your idea but doesn't take too much room. The second part of my application here, or my question, as I got older, our games became more competitive, and when I was 15, I slammed down my queen in excitement, delivering the checkmate of a lifetime. After a few self-promoting cheers and a victory laugh, I felt an adrenaline rush I hadn't before. The joy in that I felt in that minute was something I continued to look for. So again, I only did 92 words here, trying to, drive the plot as well as getting to the point where I want to discuss my feelings for chess. So when I was writing this, I decided my answer would be how I feel about the universal, commonalities between chess. How I love that it is, it breaks barriers of language and race. It brings people together. You're able to compete with people around the world. Those were the ideas I wanted to convey. And I took about 100 words and just introduced my idea. So obviously describing when I beat my dad for the first time, why I loved it so much, and really just gave a little insight to myself, show the passion I have for that, show the excitement I have, and describe a why for the answer to my question. So again, when you're writing through, find that key point that you want to really be your answer. You want your reader to remember that one part, and from there, craft the rest of your essay around that key part. Now, obviously, the question asks, why are you excited about learning? And so I wanted to kind of show my excitement for learning in my third part, which I said, my days are filled with chess books and online tutorials. Instead of Netflix, I would watch a breakdown of Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen's tournament win. My school studies would be pushed off nightly so I could study and memorize chess openings. This was my way of answering the question without being direct. I originally wrote down that I was excited about learning chess. I was passionate about it, and those types of answers are direct and straightforward. If they ask you, what are you excited about? And you respond with, I'm excited about this, you aren't putting any of your own spin on there. You're just answering a question. So either illustrate that you're excited about something, or maybe describe why you're excited about something. Don't just say, I love chess and I am excited about learning chess and I did all these things because I love to play chess. Make sure to throw some detail throughout your story. This is my area where I threw in detail, just to really describe what my life was like and give a little extra depth to my answer, opposed to just describing what it was like. So we get now to the main point of my answer. This was when I was writing out the entire, about, I'd say 350, almost 400 words to start off. This was the key point I decided I wanted to answer. Now my key point was the idea that two people, regardless of race, gender, religion, or language, can compete without hesitation is incredible to me. Along with creating new relationships, chess has brought me closer to the people I love. I continue to challenge myself day in and day out, playing with my father as well as people around the world. This was really everything I wanted to say, and my advice to you would be write a lot here. Really drag this out at first. Yeah, your key point, just keep going. Get your thoughts onto the paper. The hardest part is to get your thoughts out. You need to be able to have a wide variety of sentence structures, words that you can use, because when you're shortening down, you want to be able to keep your main point as solid and as obvious as possible. So when you're writing everything out, highlight that key area and make sure you spend all your time finding your key points and forming that into a strong sentence that really pushes that idea on the reader. Whatever you want the reader to know, you want to make sure that it is your best writing and you take the most time on it. And so I would say, just keep writing. If it's bad at first, that's how rough drafts are. I rewrote this 5-6 times. So please don't feel discouraged when you're writing and you have writer's block. Just keep going. And eventually you will find the answer you want to get across, and it will become much easier once you finally get that idea on the paper. Remember, the point of this essay is for your reader to understand who you are and your passions and what drives you. So you want to illustrate why you're passionate. You want to illustrate aspects of yourself that make you passionate about this, and you want the reader, when they're done with this, not to see you answer a question, but instead to know more about you. So don't think, similar to tests, how you have to answer the question and be done. Really, when you're done writing this, say, does this show to the best of my abilities who I am and how I feel / what my passions are? So that's what you should ask yourself when you're done with the question, opposed to just, does it answer the prompt? Because everyone answers the prompt, but not everyone is able to really show who they are and illustrate that for their reader. So my conclusion, the game has not only improved my critical thinking skills, but has helped me create a meaningful bond with my dad, and I also still own all the marbles. So I did a quick conclusion. After writing everything out, I tied it back to my beginning. I kind of made beginning and end, my entire answer, really a fluid piece by calling back all the marbles. It's also, a little bit of a joke, a little bit of lighthearted, and really a small detail that, to myself, is very important and very meaningful. Every game we play, I could always hear him say to me, this was for all the marbles. And so I wanted to put it in my essay just to make it a little more personal. So small details like that. I promise you I'm not the only person who wrote about chess on an application. I guarantee you that the person reading my application read tens, possibly hundreds of applications about chess. But I used small details from my life to make it my own. So I would say in the conclusion, short and sweet, wrap everything up nicely, and possibly try to tie back to the beginning. Really, the conclusion is just you want to make sure you sound educated and you end off on a clean note. So, all right, so that's it for this lesson. A few key points I just want to remind you of. Make sure you choose your writing style and really portray that throughout your entire application. For my writing style, I wanted my reader to enjoy reading it. It's how I am in person. It's how I write anyways. And so I decided to keep my lightheartedness and happiness present throughout my writing. However, everyone is different, and so decide who you are and what you want your writing to be like. Remember to answer the questions the way you want to. Not the way I'm telling you, not the way the way you think Stanford wants you to. Answer the question the way you will. Don't think of this as Stanford's application. Think of this as your application to show who you are. I promise you, if you do that, if you focus on putting your most true self onto the paper, you will have the most success possible. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this class, and I'll see you next time.